Let's revisit some basics. In my first video, I was showing the definition of the blog post and how we're rendering the content of the blog post. However, what I did not do too much is I didn't focus on what particular elements of the rendering variants are. So in my blog post, I'm using multiple rendering variant elements. The first one is a rendering variant section. What section is for? A section is a wrapper that allows you to put an additional elements inside of it, and it will wrap them in the tag that you specify from the drop-down. It allows you to put a CSS class and additional attributes. Now the next element is a field renderer, variant field, and field renderer will render your Sitecore field in the format that Sitecore is is defined by the type itself. So in a default renderer for that field, if you're going to render an image field, it's going to render an image. If you're going to render a single text line, it's going to render a single text line without the formatting. With the rich text, it's going to give you the rich text editing. The next element is a variant text. And variant text is for specifying text constants. So in my case, I used it to put author, to render author on a page. Now, the fourth element I used is the date renderer. You could use the standard field renderer for this. However, the benefit of the date field renderer is the ability to specify the date format, one of the dates that are defined in the platform, or potentially a date that you will provide and add to the system on your own. All of those allow you to wrap in tags that you specify, also in case of the date. So all of those allow you to add additional markup around that. And in many cases, you're going to be able to specify a prefix and a suffix, which is a text that precedes and that supersedes the whatever field you're rendering. Now, another type that I used in my basics video is an HTML tag. How HTML tag is different from the section is that it has different tags defined in the tag list. Why is that? Why is that different? Is the HTML tag is a so-called self-closing tag. Is a tag that cannot contain another tag in it, which means you cannot add additional tags underneath it. And even if you moved something underneath it, it just wouldn't render. So basically, those are the basic components of your that you are going to be working on when forming your rendering variant. Now, what you can do on most of those is you can add the data attributes, and data attributes are going to be additional attributes that are going to be added to the tag that you selected here. So in case of my header wrapper, I selected a div and I'd given it a style of background. Now, if I will inspect this element, this gray tag, you're going to see that, let me find it again, it's this guy. Nope, it's this guy that wraps my H1 title. So you see that the data attribute is actually rendered on that div tag. Now, my title doesn't have any data attributes, but I can go here to my title and I can specify a style. And I can add the value to it. I can specify another data attribute, and let's put demo there. When I save that, my data attributes are going to be added to this tag, and you can see that it became darker. So, sorry, inspect. You can see that my H1 tag contains a style and data attribute demo. And then inside of that H1, Sitecore is actually rendering a field because this wrapper H1 contains the title inside of it, the title field inside of it. Again, in here I could add a prefix. So I could specify the title, and I can, when I refresh that, I actually see that the prefix has been added to my field, and I can only edit the field itself, the prefixes preceding my field. I think that clarifies some of the basics that I skipped in my original video. Thank you for watching.